We are live. What's up, guys? Coming at you this week from my gym. Again, I'm out at the gym in Brookfield, and I am super pumped for this week's live stream because it is a trip down memory lane for me. We are going to be going over my origin story and how I was able to get from an employee of my business, which, if you are doing all the roles, you definitely are an employee of your business, whether you want to be one or not. It's okay though, because I was able in 6 years to transition to being the CEO of my business. And I'll explain what that means in the context of owning a brick and mortar micro gym. Okay, so my goal is to show you guys exactly how I did that, what you need to do, and why you need to do it to get from what I believe is a very stressful way to be an entrepreneur, which is doing all of the jobs at all times at your gym, to a very non-stressful, highly profitable way to be an entrepreneur, which is having your team run the day-to-day operations and you do the 1% of things that no one else can do besides you. So I'm going to take you through that story and each point that I hit along the way and the decision that I made and how that worked out for me, and then how you can make that decision much more quickly than taking 6 years if you have a roadmap to follow along the way. So thank you. If you are joining me live, drop a comment, drop a CEO, let me know you're here. We're going to have some fun together. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comment section and I will answer them as I go, which is the whole point of this being a live stream, is I want it to be interactive. If I just recorded a video and posted it up here, it wouldn't give us a chance to be interactive. So I also added I'm going to add some photos as I went along, because that is a cool way to tell a story, is to make it interactive and have some photos so you can see a picture of how each of these steps evolved. Okay, so let's start off. I started my business in 2012. Okay, Body by Design is the name of my gym, and I started that in 2012. And I did not have any employees or anything like that. I was a one-man show, and I was simply doing private training out of the basement of a church. That is where I started up my first gym. In fact, check it out. Here is the first photo I'm going to be showing you. And you can see I just had some floor. This is like the puzzle piece floor, guys, that you have to put together. And I'll tell you what, it's a very bad idea if you've ever done this before, because it breaks apart whenever they're doing like ball slams or jumps or whatever. So lesson learned. I started off with this floor. I had one step to do things. I had one TRX to do some things. I had a pull-up bar I made myself. I had a beautiful, as you can see, lobby, a beautiful front desk, and a bench bar with some stability balls. And that was it, guys. That's all I had. That's all I needed. I was just training one-on-one clients. And I'll tell you what, it was a lot of fun building this and starting it, but it was not the business of my dreams, right? It did not give me the freedom that I was looking for, which is why I became an entrepreneur, to do what I want, when I want, how I want to do it. It did not give me the financial freedom because I was trading my time for dollars and not leveraging my time whatsoever. I was simply just trading it. And it didn't give me the freedom of space, right, to be able to work wherever I wanted to work. I had to work at that facility. I had to be there at a certain time. I had to meet my clients and train them. And so although I took the first step to becoming a CEO, to becoming an owner and entrepreneur, I was still an employee, because I was just an employee of my clients, right? I had to be where I had to be when they told me to be there, and I had to work for the wage that would allow me to be able to work and make a living, but still have enough profit to grow the business. So that's where I was in 2012. Fast forward to 2013, I took a big step and I decided, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do all of the roles, and I don't want to be able to or not be able to grow my business because I'm completely stuck in it, and I have no idea how I'm going to stop training all these clients. I decided to make my first hire. Okay, so what I did was I hired trainers. That is going to be the first hire that you guys always want to make, is get yourself out of the fulfillment of training the clients, right? You want to be a good enough trainer so you can teach your trainers that you hire how to do what you do very well. And I would highly recommend that you teach them how you do things, right? Instead of leaving it up to them on how to train, I think you should have that secret, that special sauce, and what got you really passionate about fitness. With our gym, we do a mix of all different styles, and we're really big on cross training each other, so we all know how to do these different styles. But that is our focus. If you are really passionate about strength and conditioning, about maybe TRX or kettlebells, or whether it's athletic style training, whatever what got you into the industry, that's your passion. That's what you want to teach to people. I would highly recommend that you have your coaches train the same way and you teach them. Those are the first hires that you should make, is your team of coaches. So this was my original team of coaches. You could see we moved to a new location at this point, and I hired on about 4 or 5 coaches to take over the private clients that I was teaching. And at this point, some of the classes that we started to do. Okay, so a new location and a few more clients. Didn't cost much to make the move. It was a lot of fun, and I was able to onboard these coaches and teach them exactly what I did, which is what made our clients fall in love with Body by Design in the first place. So it took me about a year to do that. You can do it much more quickly, but you want that to be your first acquisition, is coaches and people to take over specifically all the morning and evening classes, okay, or clients. You can keep the afternoon ones to yourself for the time being, but morning and evening, because that's when you're going to be selling, okay? So I did that in about 2013, okay, as I found my first coaches. Then fast forward to 2014, at that point, I opened up my second location. So I just have a quick little show you the map of each one of our locations. And the reason that I did that was because I thought to myself, well, I can open up another location and hire some coaches for there, and I'll just sell out of both places, which in my mind at the time made a lot of sense, because I thought to myself, hey, if I'm making $5,000 a month profit from one location, I'll make $10,000 a month profit from both locations. And little did I know, it doesn't work that way. And so unfortunately, I was splitting my attention and splitting my focus, so I wasn't doing quite as good of a job at either place, right? And so that is something that I wanted to put in the story, because it was a big part of the story. It doesn't have much to do with you scaling to work yourself out of the business and becoming that CEO, but it is a lesson learned for me that I can pass on to you guys. If you are thinking about opening a second location, I would highly recommend you don't do that until you are the CEO. And I'll explain a little bit later in this video what it looks like to be the CEO of your business and how you know you're there. And then at that point, it might make sense to opening multiple locations, but not until then, because all you'll end up doing is splitting your focus, which is going to make each place perform half as good as it could if you were focused on one place, but adding way more complexity and opportunities for things to go wrong. Okay, so I did that in 2014, and in 2015 is when I hired my assistant manager. That's the next acquisition that you want to make. Why is that? Because they are going to be taking away the low value tasks that you're performing still as the owner that are not training, but things like your CRM. So whether you're entering everything into MindBody or Zen Planner, they're going to be taking care of all of the customer service. If customers are emailing you, if they are looking to upgrade, downgrade, cancel, change things, all of the conversations that might be happening at your front desk. These are all things that you could pay somebody $15 an hour, and I highly suggest that you do, and then stop doing them yourself. Because if you insist on continuing to do those things yourself and not delegate them, you are valuing your time at $15 an hour. And you can never scale up as the CEO if you are willing to work for those wages and do things that you could easily pass on to someone else. So this was our operations assistant manager. We're going to call them the assistant manager at first when they're only part-time, working 20 hours per week. Eventually, we'll promote them to 40 hours per week, and that's when they become the operations manager. But at first, you want to call them your assistant manager and have them take away some of those lower value tasks that are sucking up your time and your attention so you can focus on more important things. So what would that be? Well, now that you've hired out your staff, right, your coaches, and you've hired out your assistant manager, you should be pretty cleared up to just managing your employees, right? Doing all of the sales that you're doing at your business and focus on lead gen and marketing, right? Those are the things that you should be focusing on at this point so you can really continue growing the business. So in 2016, what I ended up doing to double down on what I told you is I sold my second location that I opened. I sold it off so I could focus back on the first one. Okay, so this is a picture of me making the sale and who purchased it. They kept it a body by design. And what I was able to do was structure a royalty agreement to where they pay a percentage of their revenue every single month to me in exchange for marketing and the branding and the proprietary things that I taught them and team that I built along the way. It's a very good deal. If you have the opportunity to do that, it's beneficial for both sides because they don't have to, they're an entrepreneur, but they don't have to start a business from scratch with absolutely no employees or no clients or no members or no logo or none of that stuff. They get fast-tracked the first 4 years that I spent doing all of those things and making it a profitable business, but then you get paid in perpetuity for as long as they're in business because of the hard work that you put in initially. So I recommend that if you have the opportunity to, if you have a second location and you want to double down and focus on that first location like I did, which I do highly recommend you do, and you want to sell your multiple location or your second, third, fourth location, I'd recommend structuring it like that because you probably have some intellectual property, some proprietary things that you can license, set up a very simple licensing agreement, attach a royalty to it, make your sale, and then get that in exchange every month for helping them out a little bit. Okay, so that's what I'd recommend. I did that in 2016. Fast forward to 2017, I got rid of my remaining PT clients that I was training during the day and focused solely on sales, lead gen, and leading my team. This is when I became the owner. I was no longer working in the business every single day as the employee, but I took the second step, not quite the CEO, but now I'm the owner of the business. And that's when I'm at the gym every day, but I'm performing all things that are going to be helping the business grow, not fulfilling the service that I'm selling. So I'm no longer fulfilling any service that I'm selling to my customers. I'm just doing things that focus on the business growth. That's ownership. But I'm still working 40, 50, 60-hour weeks in the business, just doing different things, right? And so that was a big step for me, right, to take at that point, and I did that in 2017. Fast forward to 2018, I promoted my assistant manager to operations manager. So that guy from before that I showed you, he's now transitioned from 20 hours to 40 hours per week. So why did I do that? To get 20 hours of my time back. And what did he focus on? Well, now he started running the team. He started holding them accountable. He started taking disciplinary actions with them. He started assisting me with hiring and firing and training and onboarding. He started doing all of these other things that I was still doing myself. Because remember, working 60, 70 hours a week, even though I'm working on ownership type tasks, that's not living the dream. That's not giving me my time back to spend with my kiddos and my wife, right? It's still a very taxing business to run, even though I'm not fulfilling the services that I'm selling to clients. It's still not the freedom I was looking for. So I made that hire, I made that transition, and now I gained 20 hours a week back. I went from working, 60-hour weeks to 40-hour weeks. Meanwhile, each time I'm doing this, I'm gaining more and more profit, right, by focusing more on sales and acquisition. So I'm able to afford to make these hires. We teach you exactly how to do this in FitBiz University, and the perfect gym model that we sell. We teach you exactly how to do it. I'm just teaching you what you should do and why you should do it. And then if you join us, we teach you the how you should do it, right? And so anyways, I made that transition and it gave me my 20 hours back, right? So that was in 2017. Then fast forward to 2018. That was 2018. Fast forward a little bit more. So in 2018, I did that in January. A few months later, I hired my sales manager. Okay, this was a huge step for me, guys. This is the first time anybody was ever selling for my gym that wasn't me. Okay, and so I hired them. I trained them very good. I had them shadow me. I had them send me sales recalls. I shadowed them. I took it very seriously, and it was a huge burden off of me because now they took over another 20 hours. I was selling 20 hours a week, which is what I recommend you selling too. I took off 20 more hours. So now I went from 60 to 40, now to 20. So this was our sales manager, still is, Jake. He's absolutely amazing, right? And he is meeting with all of our clients. Now you can start seeing how I'm becoming the CEO of my business. A client reaches out to me from lead gen, from whatever I'm doing, and they come into the gym and they meet with my sales manager. He sells them, and then he schedules them with one of the trainers that I hired. Right now you can see how I'm less and less involved in the program, right? And now we have my staff of trainers that are fulfilling the product that we sold, but who's managing those trainers? Well, my ops manager is, and he's telling them what we expect and what the standards are and how to do their job and how to fulfill and how to keep the clients coming back and buying more and referring. He's handling all of that. Still, the ideas are coming from me, from my mentor, from the course I'm following, but I'm just putting the information out because it is saving a ton of time. Instead of me having to train all of my staff, I just have to train the one person and then they put it all out, okay? So this happened in 2018. Then at the end of 2018 is when I hired on the final piece, right? The final piece of what it took for me to get my final 20 hours back, and that was my lead trainer, okay? So this is Justin, and he's my lead trainer at the gym. He's still here now as well. And this lead trainer took over making sure all of the classes and PT sessions were covered in case someone's going on vacation or whatever it may be. He took over all of the events, running member challenges. He took over all of teaching the programming for the gym and rolling it out to all of the trainers. He took care of everything that I was still doing, even with these other positions that didn't really necessarily fall to any one of those other positions, okay? So when I promoted him to lead trainer, he took over the employee management and the KPI tracking. So I've made a couple other videos on KPI tracking and how each one of our staff members needs to hit certain KPIs. Well, guess what? If they weren't hitting them, it wasn't me talking to that trainer. It was me talking to the lead trainer on how we can improve performance amongst the staff or the culture, right? So I began that's when I began completely. I went from 20 hours per week. Now I dropped down. I dropped down to about 4 to 5 hours per week. And that is when I became the CEO. I had my 3 main employees, my 3 leaders, right? My ops manager, my sales manager, my lead trainer, and they ran all of the day-to-day. So what was my job to do as the CEO of my business now that I took my 20 hours from training, my 20 hours from sales, my 20 hours from leadership and managing employees, and I paid that all out. What do I need to do to continue growing my business? Okay, well, I spend 1 hour per week at these leadership meetings. So I'm going to tell you how I spend my 4 to 5 hours per week working on my business, not in it. So 1 hour per week at our leadership meetings. This is every Monday for us at noon Central Time. We get together and we take a look at what we did the past week from the goals that we set, and then we set new goals for the next week on how to accomplish our monthly goals. We do this every single Monday. We never miss it. If somebody needs to Zoom, call in from Zoom, whatever it may be. Sometimes I'm there via Zoom. If I can come in, I like to come in and I'll do that as well. But the choice is mine. I can literally do this from a different state if I need to. And there was a long period of time where I only did this via Zoom. So this is what those meetings look like. Okay. So this is a meeting, a recent meeting. It's me and my 3 positions. You just saw them. Some of them have bigger beards now, but this is what we go over every single Monday. We take a look at the metrics. We take a look at what we have planned for the month. We take a look at the past week's performance, and then we set goals for the next week, and we make sure that we hit those goals. So it's a very simple, easy conversation. Hey, guys, this is what we need to accomplish over the next week. Jake, for sales, we need to do this. Make sure that everything is running smooth. Do you have the new sales script? Are you good with that? Awesome. Andy, for operations, we need to get these posts out. We need to make sure the members are doing these. These are the client payments we need to recapture, XYZ. You feel comfortable with that? Do you have any questions? Okay, awesome. We'll revisit how that went on next Monday. Justin, this is what we need from the trainers. We need these clients renewed. We need this event and all the things turned in for this event by this time on Friday evening. Also, we're having issues with X, Y, and Z, but they're doing very good on this. Make sure the whole team understands this, and then we'll talk about how that went on next Monday. Does everybody feel comfortable with what we need to accomplish over the next week? And this is what I'll be doing, right? And I explain what I'll be doing. Okay, amazing, right? Does anybody have any questions? And it's a very collaborative hour-long meeting, and we set goals, and we set KPIs, and we follow up with those the next meeting. And if there's any reason why we didn't reach them, we know it's coming, and we set new goals to overcome those obstacles next time. So it's a very productive hour-long meeting. I do that every Monday. Then Tuesday, I focus solely on lead gen. So I don't go into the gym. I focus on nothing but bringing in leads, marketing, filming ads, or getting them from my staff. If I want my staff to do ads for me, I focus my time on getting those. I write copy. I optimize my ads that I'm running, or I improve one of the 5 free. If you guys have seen the 5 free that I put out, the video on the 5 ways to get high quality leads for free, I focus on improving those because those can always be tweaked and manipulated and improved. I spend my time focusing on improving those. But on Tuesdays, that's all I do is focus on lead gen, whether it's paid or organic free. I focus on making sure my sales manager always has people to talk to, always has people to introduce into our program. So that's what I do on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, I focus solely on analyzing the KPIs of my business. And I look at the sheets, I look at my acquisition KPIs, I look at my retention KPIs, I look at my trial to conversion KPIs, I look at everything and analyze it and just take a step back and look at the 1,000-foot view of if what we're doing now is going to get our business to the place we ultimately want it to be. And if the answer is yes, then I look at ways I can improve it, right? If the answer is no, I look at ways I can change it, right? If I'm just looking at the numbers and I'm like, look, man, we're fighting tooth and nail for a 3% profit margin, I think I need to make some changes. That's maybe when I hire a mentor. That's when I maybe purchase some new information that I don't have so I know what pivot I want to make before I make it. That's when I might go back to things that worked in the past and see if there's an opportunity to make them work again. So I spend all of that time on Wednesday looking at numbers that nobody really in my business besides me sees the full picture of. The head trainer, he might see the full picture of, let's say, retention because he's working with the staff and who's canceling and who's upgrading and all that stuff. My sales guy, he might see the full picture of all the acquisition numbers, right? Or my ops guy, he might see the full picture of all of our trial conversions and as he's managing that system. They each have their own system that they're managing. But I'm the only one that sees the full picture of the entire business, and I spend an hour every week just focusing on that and making any changes I need to. Thursday, I spend an hour on the 1% of things that only I can do as the CEO. So that's things like legal stuff, accounting stuff, insurance type stuff, meeting with any of those people. I absolutely hate meetings, and I do not take meetings that can be covered via email. So before you start booking yourself a ton of meetings, make sure you ask yourself and the person that is going to be doing those meetings, can this be covered via email? If the answer is yes, do not book a meeting. Some people just want to suck up your time. Do not let them suck up your time, right? Maybe they're not busy. Maybe they don't have anything to do, but do not spend your free time that you've earned on pointless meetings when it can be handled via email. But if there is any of those meetings I have to have, I will do that Thursday, right? And I will take care of all of the loose ends. So that is the 4 hours that I spend on a typical work week working on my gym, not in it whatsoever, and really leveraging my information, leveraging my skill sets, leveraging my leadership ability to my leaders, which are the 3 leaders I talked about, and letting them leverage it to the rest of the staff. And we have more than just trainers. We have front desk, we have cleaning staff, we have different people that do certain things, and each one of them is led by one of our 3 leaders. Now, I do spend 1 hour per month on a meeting with each one of those leaders and really developing them. So if I'm meeting with a sales guy, we might dig into sales scripts, right? We might dig into objection overcomes. We might dig into how things are going in the sale if we think it's time for them to record. We might dig into all of that stuff to really make them the best salesperson they can be and to really develop them as a leader. I want to use all of the information I'm absorbing because guess what, guys? I have tons of time outside of working on this business to get smarter, to learn more, to learn from mentors, to absorb more information. I want to pass that on to my staff. If I keep all of that information to myself and I don't pass that on to my staff, then I'm wasting it, right? It's not going to impact my business. So I spend this hour every week teaching them and passing along just the best nuggets of what will help them apply to their job. I'm not going to make them read all the books I read or listen to all the courses I do or anything like that because it's too much time. But if I can pass along the most important things to them, that's what I'm going to do. So this is a picture of me, standard meeting I'll have with one of my one-on-one guys, and we'll do this every week, where I am once a month. So I do one per week, but with each one of my leaders. I don't have them all in 1 week. And I will teach them and level them up as leaders. I will level them up specifically in their roles so they get sharper and sharper and sharper, right? So that is how I spend another hour per month. Then I spend 1 hour per month at our team meeting. Today we had one. It was a lot of fun. So this is an example of a team meeting. This is where we all get together and we roll out everything that we're planning for the next month, whether it's a challenge, it's an event. We talk about how the past month went. We talk about KPIs and numbers and bonuses and all of this stuff. And I really fire them up and get them excited. Mostly my team leads it. I'm just there as a backup support, right? But my leaders, they lead that meeting. And it's a lot of fun. We do that every single month. And I highly suggest that you get that going so your whole team is on the page. The final month or the final hour that I spend on my business every single month is events and challenges. So we have a big part of our business called member marketing. If you're not doing it, it's something that is absolutely going to help drive your business by always having some kind of member event or internal challenge that you're issuing out to your members, so they're constantly paying you, right? Whether they are buying a 6-week like Lean by Halloween program, because these guys want to do things like that. Just because they're your members doesn't mean that they don't want to add something to their membership or do something fun or go to an event or donate to a cause, whatever it may be. So we do that every single month. We rotate between events and challenges, and I make sure I'm always part of one of those because they're fun and I like spending my time working with everybody. So this is an example of an event that we did recently. It's just a mud race. It's a lot of fun. So I am there and we get the members together and it builds the culture. It builds the camaraderie. It makes it a lot of fun. And I make sure that I'm always at one of those. But that is it, guys. 4 hours every week and then 3 1-hour tasks per month. And that is the amount of time I spend working on my business. And it took me 6 years to get there. Now, the perfect gym model, which is what FitBiz University does, shows you how to do it in 6 months, right? And because you get a fast track and a blueprint, I spend the rest of my time only working on that and with my kiddos and my wife, right? But I spend all of my time innovating, right? So the industry is constantly changing. It's constantly changing. Things that worked a year ago do not work at all now. It's my job to keep my ear to the ground and figure out what is working and how to best do it, and how to roll it out so it's simple and clean, and how to how to design it so my gym owners that follow me make money immediately from it, and it helps them grow their gyms immediately because they don't have all the time that I have. They don't have the time that I have to roll this stuff out, but my goal is to get them there, right? So what I can do to get them there is to use my time and leverage it and get it out to as many people as possible, and that's exactly what I do. So if you want to know how to do these things, I just went over all of the what you need to do and why you need to do them to get from employee to CEO. If you want to know how, all you have to do is drop a how in the chat and we'll reach out to you and explain a little bit more on how we do this and what it looks like to work with FitBiz. But now you know exactly the road plan or the roadmap that we are going to be taking you through to get you from where you're at now to where ultimately you probably want to be, right? Which is way less stress. I can tell you, when you're only working 6, 7, 8 hours per week on your business, 4 scheduled in and 3 outside of that, your life is a lot less stressful. Now, I chose to start another business with my free time, but you can do whatever you want with your free time, right? My profit is up there. Our profit's great, right? So I have my financial freedom from my gym business, but I chose to live what I think is my purpose and spend my free time coaching other gym owners because it was such a big life change for me that I just feel obligated to pass it forward to other people. And this is the best way I know how, is by teaching you exactly what I did, right? So that's how I spend my time. You can spend it traveling the world. You can spend it hanging out solely with your friends and family, however you want to do it, right? But I'm going to teach you how to do it. And that's exactly how the perfect gym model works, right? So drop a how in the comments if you want to know how. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your Monday to watch this. If you're watching the replay, drop a replay in this video to let me know that you've consumed this information and you're going to put it into action. But those are the steps I took. It took 6 years. We roadmap it out for you to be able to accomplish this in 6 months. We teach you exactly how to find the right people, exactly how to onboard them, exactly when to pass the information over, what KPIs and what systems you want them to own, when you should be profitable enough. I mean, everything we cover. So I wanted to take this Monday live stream to paint the picture of how I did it, along with some cool photos so you could see my journey that I went through. And I can tell you my life is absolutely amazing right now. And I want nothing more for more people to get there. That is my number one goal in life, is for more people to get to where I'm at, because it is absolutely amazing and it's not that hard to do. And there's nothing special about me. I just went before you and it took me a little bit longer to get there, but you can fast track. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Every single Monday at 1 p.m. Central, I will be covering a different topic that pertains to growing your brick and mortar gym. Sometimes it'll be super tactical, like sales or retention or whatever it may be. Sometimes it'll be more of an overview, like today was, more of an overview of the entire process. But keep tuning in and I'll keep making this for you guys. I appreciate everybody in this group, and I will see you guys live